So Instagram is hiding political content from you. That is not clickbait in any way, shape, or form. They just quietly made a very big change, especially with some things that are coming up in certain parts of the world that we thought you should know about, because it is restricting what you see and also potentially who's seeing your content in the first place if it's deemed political. And so this is a release straight from Instagram called Continuing Our Approach to Political Content on Instagram and Threads. And this was released February 9th, but I've not seen many people talk about this. So this isn't our typical kind of content. We usually help you grow and make money on social media. But we also like to keep you informed. And so this is the article, and we're going to break down what this means because it's pretty massive, the implications of this. And so let's get into it. We want Instagram and Threads to be a great experience for everyone. If you decide to follow accounts that post political content, we don't want to get between you and their posts. But we also don't want to proactively recommend political content from accounts you don't follow. So they're saying that if you are an account that posts political content, they're not going to show you to people unless they follow you, which creates an issue of how do new people follow you? I don't know. So we're extending our existing approach to how we treat political content. We won't proactively recommend content about politics on recommendation services across Instagram and Threads. If you still want these posts recommended to you, you will have a control to see them. So they're making this the default where they turn this off unless you go back in and turn on those recommendations. So that's pretty insane, especially with how most people consume content these days. They don't watch traditional media. And so with elections coming up across the world, most people get their information, for better or for worse, from social media. And now they won't even be getting that unless they turn this back on. So let's dive into how you do that. So these recommendations updates apply to public accounts and in places where we recommend content such as Explore, Reels, in-feed recommendations, and suggested users. It doesn't change how we show people content from accounts they choose to follow. If political content, potentially related to things like laws, elections, or social topics, is posted by an account that is not eligible to be recommended, that account's content can still reach their followers in feeds and stories. That's pretty insane to me, because that opens up a whole can of worms. What's considered political, right? They purposely make things quite vague. So professional accounts on Instagram will be able to use account status to check their eligibility to be recommended based on whether they recently posted political content. From account status, they can edit or remove recent posts, request a review if they disagree with our decision, or stop posting this type of content for a period of time in order to be eligible to be recommended again. So when I read that, it sounds like if you post political content and then the next post isn't political, your whole account's going to be labeled as a political page and they won't push your content. It's what I'm reading. I could be interpreting that incorrectly, but that's how it sounds to me. If people still want to see this type of political content, so here's how you can turn it back on Threads and Instagram recommendation surfaces, there will be a control for people that choose to see it. This control will also roll out on Facebook at a later date. And so how you get into there is you go into your content preferences on your profile and you click don't limit political content from people you don't follow. So this would basically make it how it used to be, where you could potentially be shown new political content, even if you're not following those accounts. So note, content and design may change as we refine products based before launch. And so I'll do a screen recording right now. I don't have this filmed, so hopefully it doesn't take too long. But basically, here's what you do. You go into your profile, you click this, and then you click this, and then you go in, and then you click the button to don't limit it if that's what you want to do. Obviously, if you're cool with this, then you can leave it as is. But it's kind of crazy they didn't make this more public so that you knew you had the option or you had to turn it back on. I don't know. And so they close it out by saying, we're always working to improve our recommendation system and give people control so we can connect people with the most relevant posts to them. We'll roll out these changes slowly over time to get this right. I wouldn't call this slowly. This was right away. So that's it. So like I said before, with the coming elections in first the States and then other parts of the world and where I am in Canada next year, this is pretty crazy. And so if you do want to see this content, make sure that you're turning it back on. And if you are posting political content or anything close to it, make sure to check on what your account status is to see if you're being deemed as political content. And if you're not reaching as many people as you once were, that might be why. They might be restricting your reach because they've deemed you political. And you may want to adjust your content strategy if you're looking for growth, or you may want to make sure that people are turning on this setting whenever possible to help you if you can. So it's going to make it a lot harder to grow if you're posting political content on Instagram based on these rules. But since this wasn't shared very publicly, I wanted to make sure you knew about this so you could act accordingly. But if you are interested in growing on social media and making money from social media, we are the channel to help you do it. I post weekly free videos giving you the latest strategies, tactics, and tips to help you do just that. And in the video we just popped up on your screen, I give you 5 tips that you can implement today that will help you grow faster this year on Instagram. So go ahead and click this. I will see you over there, and I'll see you on Instagram. Peace.